ChatGPT Plus is free for college students through May. Here's the thing. You've got a lot to do between now and then. Studying for finals, writing papers, trying to keep your life on track. And ChatGPT can help with all of it. It can quiz you for your econ exam, make a study guide from your French notes, plan out your meals and study breaks. It can get really specific on how you like to learn. It can even help you come up with ways to stop procrastinating. So from now until summer break, take advantage of all the ways ChatGPT can make your life easier. Restrictions apply.
You would never smoke a cigar in the boys' room at school because that would just take too long. You couldn't do it in a leisurely manner. But we are rapidly approaching the holiday season, and a lot of folks are going to be purchasing cigars for the cigar smoker in their life. And if that's you, then you absolutely want to listen closely to Gary Korb. Gary Korb is a legend when it comes to cigars. He's a guy that knows a thing or two about a thing or two. He has many titles, but they include being the executive editor for cigaradvisor.com. Gary, welcome back to the program. It's great to talk to you again.
Oh, it's good to talk to you, Fred. Good morning, and it's great to be back on the WABC airwaves with you
and
again.
all of our other great stations, Gary. Don't pay any of don't give short shrift to all of our other great stations. That's
across the country and around the world.
That's a very elitist view of our radio program. But for people that are unfamiliar with your work or with cigaradvisor.com, what exactly is cigaradvisor.com?
Okay, well, if you enjoy smoking premium handmade cigars like Frank and Cigar Advisor is a website that's dedicated to providing news and information on everything cigars, from how to cut and light, cigar reviews, buying guides on all the major cigar brands, news about top new cigar releases, interviews with people in the industry, many of which I have done, and I'm very happy to say. And, these are the people who make the cigars, and there's much more. And as cigaradvisor.com does every year at this time, we have just published our 2024 Ultimate Holiday Cigar Gift Buying Guide. So,
wow! So that's on cigaradvisor.com. They could check them out.
Oh yeah. Go there, and you'll see it right on the front on the homepage.
I think that's good advice for anybody that has a cigar smoker on their list. But let's say, Gary, that someone is totally uneducated. Let's say they just know that someone in their life, a friend, a loved one, a husband, a father, an uncle, likes to smoke cigars, but they really don't know what kind of cigars that person likes. What should they get for that person?
Well, they should probably get them something that's going to be somewhere in the not too not full-bodied really, but even if they like full-bodied, you would know that. So somewhere in the medium range of cigars. So like a good, like Rocky Patel, a lot of his cigars are medium-bodied. Arturo Fuente, we talk about Fuente all the time when I come on. Most of their cigars are in the medium body range, and they're not expensive. I would, if you can find out what they like, somehow or another do it. But if you don't know, I would get a brand that people are familiar with, like Romeo and Julieta or Monte Cristo. I just said Rocky Patel. Brands like that that have sort of a a reputation, for being around a long time.
At 30 minutes after the hour, this is The Other Side of Midnight. My guest is Gary Korb. He's with cigaradvisor.com. They have their holiday gift-giving guide up there. You could check it out. Gary, obviously, cigars are often associated with celebrations or special occasions. People give them out at weddings. They give them out when a baby's born. Tell us why cigars have this ceremonial role in our culture. What is it about smoking one that makes people feel like they're marking an important moment?
Well, I think it goes back to the fact that many years ago, cigars were expensive. They were a lot more expensive than, say, cigarettes, and they were seen as by people as cigars, something that bankers smoke, doctors, very wealthy people, heads of industry, So when that special occasion comes along, like having a new baby or something, to have that cigar just makes you feel like, that you're special, and you've got something that you don't, most people don't normally smoke as much as, say, I do, but there was that special occasion where you just want to take out that cigar and just feel really good. And if it's a good cigar, they're really going to love it. So,
for listeners who've never smoked a cigar before, what's the best way to start? Are there beginner cigars that are smoother and more approachable for someone new to the experience?
Yeah, I guess you could call them that. I guess what we usually, it's funny, I had written up a list of beginner cigars, but unfortunately I don't have it.
Well, give us one.
But I'll try to remember some of them. But, I would say you would start with a Connecticut wrapper cigar, Connecticut shade, either a wrapper that's grown in Connecticut or in Ecuador. Most of them come from Ecuador now. And, so those cigars tend to be mild and very smooth, very creamy. I'd say like probably the most famous mild cigar out there is like the Macanudo. Those are very, very good. And that's where I would start. And I would start with a cigar that's not too big. You don't want like a 60 ring cigar or something that's fat. You want something that's more maybe along the lines of a Robusto or a Corona, something that's not too much, so they can handle that. And the secret really is to smoke the cigar slow, regardless of your experience. The slower you smoke it, the better it's going to taste, because you want those flavors to caramelize, just like you would when you cook. You caramelize onions. You don't want to burn them, right? So you just let those tobaccos burn slowly, and they will deliver the best flavor from those tobaccos.
I like that.
Yeah, start slow like that, and start with something mild. Yeah.
What is it that makes a good cigar great? What are the key factors, like you've mentioned a few, flavor, construction, that set premium cigars apart from the mass market ones? Okay, well, here's the deal. And I was going to talk about this too, about high-priced cigars. What makes a cigar really good is not just the construction. It's also the master blender's concept of how he wants that cigar to taste. And the only way to deliver that is when he or she chooses the specific tobaccos. And those tobaccos generally tend to be older tobaccos that are very long aged, and the longer they're aged, the more flavor. There are people in the industry who just know how to do this. It is a science, believe it or not. And that's what makes a cigar really good. The fact that the tobaccos marry beautifully with each other, the cigar smokes well, it burns well, it doesn't get too harsh. Those are the things that really make a great cigar. And I'll tell you another thing too. It's atmosphere. Plays a really big part in it too. I think
where you smoke that cigar.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I couldn't agree more.
Home means something different to everyone. But with Rocket Mortgage, home can mean even more. It can mean a college education, taming your high-interest debt, even a renovation. We've made it easier than ever to use your home equity. That home you worked so hard for, now it can work hard for you. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states, and MLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Subtle results, still you, but with fewer lines. Botox Cosmetic, onabotulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
This episode is brought to you by Factor. Optimize your nutrition this year with Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal service. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved, ready to eat in just 2 minutes. Choose from 40 weekly options across 8 dietary preferences like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Eat smarter at factormeals.com/listen50 and use code listen50 for 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Factormeals.com/listen50, code listen50. T's and C's apply.
Hey guys, have you heard of Goldbelly? It's this amazing site where they ship the most iconic famous foods from restaurants across the country, anywhere, nationwide. I've never found a more perfect gift than food. They ship Chicago deep dish pizza, New York bagels, Maine lobster rolls, and even Ina Garten's famous cakes. So if you're looking for a gift for the food lover in your life, head to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code GIFT.
When people buy cigars, and if people are just tuning in, this is The Other Side of Midnight. I'm Frank Morano. My guest is Gary Korb. He's with cigaradvisor.com. When people buy cigars for gifts, what's a nice touch that could make the present feel extra special, whether it's for a smoker or someone who might not even smoke? What's something that could give it a little bit more zhuzh?
Gee, well, maybe not just give the cigars, but maybe add a cutter or a lighter. Literally thousands of lighters and cutters out there. You would add something like that to the gift. I think that would be appropriate, or even a cigar case.
Mm-hmm.
You have a small case, something like that. Travel cases are really good. I like to use a travel case. But that's what I would do. Just add an accessory, add a nice accessory.
There's always a lot of talk about food and wine pairings. But what about cigars? Are there drinks, foods, maybe even some desserts that go surprisingly well with a cigar? You were the one, I think, in one of our first conversations 2 or 3 years ago that turned me on to the idea of coffee and a cigar, and I have become a major convert to that. But give folks a few ideas in terms of pairings.
Okay, well, it's funny. I have had wine with cigars on occasion, but most of the cigar smokers I speak to, they're not really high on doing the wine thing. Coffee is across the board. Just about everybody who has smoked cigars that I know or I've met agrees coffee is terrific, but you got a lot of people who really love a good bourbon with the cigar or a good rum. These kind of liquors tend to go very well. Also, sometimes I'll be smoking a cigar and I'll say, this cigar would go well with a good bourbon. Now, maybe because the cigar has kind of an oaky or woody flavor, so I want to pair it with a whiskey that might have a little bit of oakiness to it, or something that complements the cigar. Like sometimes I'll have a cigar that I usually like sweet cigars, cigars that are not sweetened cigars, but cigars that have kind of a sweetness to their flavor profile. And sometimes it's not as sweet, so I'll say, maybe a sweet rum or a rum that has a sweeter character, or a whiskey, something like that would go well with it. So it's good to complement. And actually, we have a pairing guide on cigaradvisor.com, which will help you with. We have one for beer, and we have one for wine, and we have one for whiskey. So
it's interesting. There are fewer and fewer places that you can smoke, especially indoors these days. But it seems like cigars are enjoying a bit of a resurgence in popularity. Why do you think that is? Is it more about the culture surrounding cigars or the actual smoking experience itself?
Well, I think the experience is part of it. But I think sometimes it's the economy. I think I remember when during Trump's first, in office, his first term, rather, he, the economy was getting good, and cigars were doing very well, and they were also able to keep prices down for the most part. But I think the economy has something to do with it. People see, there are so many movies with cigar smoking in them too, and I think people see that and they go, yeah, that looks pretty cool. I might want to do that, and it just kind of it kind of follows suit. Like if you start doing it, maybe you have a couple of buddies who like it, they share that with you, and then it kind of just grows from there. And you just have a group of guys. Like I have a group of guys that I hang out with actually on the phone through Zoom. Every week we have a Zoom, what I call a Zoom herf.
Oh, I like that.
We all smoke cigars and we talk. And we actually talk about cigars.
I think that's great. What else? Yeah. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I think that's part of it.
We began the conversation with you mentioning that cigars were, expensive, and they are seen as a luxury product. Are there affordable options that still offer a premium experience so that people can enjoy the enjoyment of cigars without breaking the bank? And if there are, give us one or two examples.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so I'm not going to. Well, you always have the bundle cigars. Usually, a lot of cigars that you see, it comes in a package, wrapped in plastic. But as far as the box cigars go. There are still a lot that are very affordable. The Romeo and Julieta mainline is still very affordable. The Arturo Fuente mainline cigars, still very affordable. I'm talking about cigars that are under $10. Mm-hmm. So some are even under $5. Padron, their mainline has never been very expensive, and they're pretty consistent. So if you can kind of look around and see that. This cigar, is basically the same blend, but it's a lot less money. And if it's made by the same company that might make a higher blend, or a higher price blend that's similar, you can probably enjoy that lower price cigar just as much, if not more. I mean, I've had cigar. I once paid $40 for a cigar, and it was good, but it wasn't great.
Right. I've had the same experience, and no doubt about it. You mentioned that cigar clutch that you're a part of via Zoom, and I find that when you go to a cigar shop or a cigar bar, or even you find yourself in some sort of circumstance, maybe it's someone's house, all smoking cigars, it is a very social vibe. We associate cigar smoking with relaxing and unwinding. What is it about cigars specifically that's conducive to doing that kind of thing? What is it about the experience that draws people together, whether they're smoking or just enjoying the atmosphere?
Well, it's funny because every day in the afternoon after work, I go over to the lounge, and I'm usually with the same people almost every day. We have what I call the regulars. I guess I'm a regular too. And there's something about just sitting around and smoking a cigar that you like, or, at this time of year too, like we like to trade cigars a little bit. So like someone gave me a cigar the other day, I gave him something a week ago, whatever. But you just it's just so relaxing. And there's some people who will be looking at their phone. But there'll be two other guys or three other guys talking about, sports, or sometimes they'll talk about cigars. But they'll talk about just about anything, but hopefully not politics, But everybody seems to have that in common. And all the fellows that are in there come from completely different walks of life, completely different income levels. I mean, it's just one of these things that unites everybody. It's amazing how the cigar just brings people together. I don't know. Maybe it's the same thing with people that ride motorcycles or something. It's they do it in groups. It's just you just kind of feel like I got this thing going, and hey, we got this in common, and it's just really good.
Hey, lastly, Gary, what's one myth about cigars that you'd like to debunk for listeners who may be a little skeptical or curious about the culture surrounding them?
Wow. Let me see. Well, I guess what we were just talking about is one of them is that, you don't have to pay a lot of money to get a good cigar. That's a lot of crap.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. That's good. All right, Gary Korb, you could check out his work at cigaradvisor.com, and there's a ton of interesting content on there. Thanks, Gary. Hopefully I'll see you for New Year's Eve this year. If not, Merry Christmas and the rest.
I already got a room booked, Frank.
Outstanding. All right, Gary, thank you very much. Appreciate it.